Hi, welcome back to Sahara TV. My name is Rudolf Okonkwo. This is your Skype call segment when we give you the chance to give us feedback on some of the topics we've been discussing today. Of course, if you've been watching, you know that we spoke to the youngest delegate at the national conference going on in Abuja today. Her name is Yodoma Mandara. She told us what's been going on for this week and updates on what will happen next week. Very fascinating. I think if you didn't watch it, make sure you see that. We also had an interview we had with Doyin Okube at the Center for Strategic and International Studies in Abuja, where they came this week for a conference to talk about the election. And also Lai Mohammed, who is the is the media person for the opposition APC. So they discussed what's going to happen in 2015. Now, for this program now, we are going to expect your calls, and we're going to talk to you about the national conference. We're also going to talk to you about the GDP. Nigeria rebased our GDP, and we are now the #1 economy in Africa. What does that mean for you? That's the question we have on our question of the day. If we have time, we're going to talk about Rwanda. This week they marked the 20th anniversary of the genocide of 1994. And of course, the SSS has been arresting and harassing bloggers. We will try to touch on that topic too. But before we go to your Skype calls, I know a lot of you are waiting for me. I have in the studio Dr. Peregrino Brimah. Dr. Perry, for those of you who do not know, is a columnist for several websites and newspapers, and he's very, very famous, and he's not afraid to write his opinion. Dr. Perry, welcome to Sahara TV.
Thank you very much, Robert. It's nice to be here.
Yeah. So let's start with the events of this week in Nigeria. The national conference, the 4th week, is gone now, so they have about 8 weeks left. We spoke to the youngest delegate, Mandara, and she said that the delegates are beginning to feel the pressure that time is running out. How do you see the conference so far?
We'll have to wait to see what, what comes out of it eventually. So I'm not going to be optimistic too much about it. It's good for this set of people to be talking, though I don't know if the set of people there are totally representative of us or even partially representative of us, and there are so many groups missing, especially the youth, which we are getting frustrated are never involved in things that happen in our country. But as far as it's worth for them to get over the problems they have had, this older generation with each other, hopefully they'll be able to resolve some of the problems and exchange enough blows, and then, dust would settle, and they'll come out with some things that may, play some role in the process of Nigeria. But the second part of it is after the conclusion of the conference, what will be done with whatever resolutions are passed. And, it's the whole system right now doesn't work. I don't know how the conference would work.
I asked that question to Mandara. She said that they have no idea what will happen after that. And the Senate came up this week to say that they've given up on any plan to put in place a system where the resolutions can find a path to becoming law or even towards a new constitution. So essentially, it's looking as if whatever they're doing is just a jamboree, unless the government is able to put in a system, a legal tool that they could use to make whatever the conclusions or resolutions into law.
Which is the problem that we have with this, we're having that with this conference, the honesty of the regime. The possibility that they will be able to put it into law. We have, right now, at the stage where Nigeria is, honestly, we are delaying the inevitable, because this effort, there was an effort some time ago, it was the Oputa panel. The Oputa panel, other than the other conferences that we've had, the Oputa panel was supposed to be a kind of reconciliatory effort where we had a revolution. Okay. Nigerians revolted and removed, what's his name? We threw out Babangida. We threw out the military boys. So after throwing out the military boys, this was our revolution. We kicked them out. They hijacked the revolution. Gusau comes, Babangida comes back from the back after somehow mysteriously Abacha dies. They now bring this soldier, Obasanjo, their third wheel, they bring him back. Put him in, hijack our revolution. Now they knew the anger of the people, they knew the anger of the youth in Nigeria. They now put him in, he now creates this Oputa panel that's supposed to be a kind of reconciliatory effort, where these are the things, the gimmicks that come to play. But what's important is the player, who is the machine behind it. So this reconciliatory effort, so-called, and then the conferences in the past, are being organized by Obasanjo, Babangida, Gusau. The same people are organizing it. At the end of the reconciliatory effort, we said, okay, we are putting down the whatever the acts where everybody is calm, revolution. We are trying to allow a transition. But that transition did not happen because there was no recompense. The reconciliation did not work. There was no recompense. There was for the injustices. So all these criminals of the past came back, took over the entire system because there was no repudiation for what they did. And then they've come again and they've taken over the entire system again. So they hijacked that. These same people are the same ones here again until Nigeria takes a solid step, apart from all these fancy conferences, until we take a real solid step and push those people aside, bring justice for the crimes they've committed. They are not repentant. So they could sit down and talk here and resolve certain things, make a few decisions. They are not honest, they are not repentant. And I don't see any hope out of this, honestly.
All right, we will get into some of these things when we talk about the national conference, because the delegates have been saying some interesting things. So let's go to Skype callers and get them involved in our discussion. Let me see. We have joining us from France, Louise. Louise, welcome to Sahara TV. Louise, are you there? All right, from India, we have Michael. Michael, welcome to Sahara TV. From Thailand, we have Mazi Emmanuel. Emmanuel, welcome to Sahara TV. Okay, it appears that our connection with our Skype callers. Okay, all right. Matt King in Mina, welcome to Sahara TV.
Hello. Thank you very much. Good evening.
Good evening, welcome. Aliyah in UK, welcome to Sahara TV.
Hello.
All right. And Louise, I think I heard your voice. Welcome to Sahara TV.
Thank you.
All right. I know we have a delay with our Skype callers, so when I talk to them, you give some time for them to respond. Okay, let's start with the national conference. This is the 4th week, and a lot of interesting things happened at the conference today. So let me start with you, Louise. Louise, were you watching what came out? What did you take out from this week at the national conference?
I did not watch it, but there's my own comment I want to comment about my own.
Okay, go ahead.
State.
Go ahead.
You know, the place I came from Delta State, and my father house is in Saple, and normally before I left, in 8 years ago, we have a good, our general hospital is a very good system, but unfortunately, everything just changed, and we don't really understand. So the reason why I'm making this call, because I want Sahara people to help us to speak to the government of Delta State. Could you imagine the mortuary in general hospital? They don't have light in general hospital. All the people that came in the mortuary, they're all putting them on the floor. And the reason why I'm making this call is that I lost my mom of recent. And before we were told now, they rushed into the mortuary. And after 3 days when my auntie went there, they keep many people on the ground. I say, what? I say, is this generation? Even before I left Nigeria, I was in Kaduna. Kaduna, they have a good mortuary. They have a generator. They have everything. So how come Delta State, the governor will not do anything about General Hospital? We don't have light in General Hospital. All the people kept in the mortuary, they kept them on the ground.
All right, thank
It's
you,
too
thank you,
bad for that
thank you,
to happen.
thank you, Louis. Let me tell you, Louis, that our show is watched by a lot of government officials. So we hope that someone from the Delta State government is watching. But let me ask you, Dr. Brimah, what do you think about the state of hospitals in Nigeria, especially in cases like this?
Lewis's point is very, 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 very important. This is what is happening. He's bringing about, he's hitting on a more broad point that's happening in Nigeria right now, and it's critical, and a lot of people are beginning to notice it. Nigeria right now is going backwards, back beyond the 80s, Babangida's time, Babacha's. Nigeria right now is in a state of decay. I can't even say backwards, because the days in the past were not so bad.
60s should be better than
It was better than this.
Yeah,
Nigeria
70s.
right now, the ritual crimes, the murder, the corruption, the state of dilapidation of public infrastructure. Nigeria right now is in the barbaric ages. This is Cain and Abel, if I can say so. It has never been in a state worse than this. What Louis is frustrated about is all over. People visit the country, they get robbed. My friend, they hit gun on his hand. He had to crash his car into this guy in Surulere, crash his car into the guy at the gate. All the robbers were with masks trying to kidnap him. He ran back to America. His hand is like this. Nigeria right now, the state of everything is reckless. It's wretched. So what he is hitting on is this broader problem where Nigeria is a dangerously precarious state. But the second thing, the question you asked about the state of healthcare, we are not investing in that system in any way or form whatsoever until you have a kind of regime that comes and says that no matter what, ordinary citizens can travel abroad, but no public official is going abroad for anything whatsoever, no matter how serious, until you have a serious regime that says nobody is going abroad for help, before they will invest properly in maintaining the quality, making sure there's quality assurance, making sure there's oversight, and making sure that there's equipment and infrastructure and regulation on the healthcare system in that country. And then, of course, you need power, which has been,
a major issue. Let's continue. Michael in India. Michael, what is your take on the national conference this week? Did you follow the news that came out of it, and what is the most interesting thing to you? Okay, I understand that Michael is not with us anymore. He's gone. Mazi Manuel in Thailand. What is your take on the national conference? Are you there?
Well, anyway, I think I am.
Okay, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, okay. I think the last speaker made my point. First of all, I lost hope in the country called Nigeria to begin with. And because we have all that it takes to be the best of countries in the world, but still, the same old cabals, they keep on rigmaroling, moving from one place to another, deciding for us. So looking at the conference and the delegates, I personally do not think that they are representing me, and I do not think that, in fact, I was even consulted or even asked whether they fit to represent me. I see that as more of a preparation for 2015 election. So that is what I would just say. And listening to Professor Putin, it was said that he is one of those that actually muted the idea of the conference. But as it is now, for example, when you're talking about the youth, who are the people representing the youth? And these are very important things. So I think for me, I lost hope as a person anyway. I don't think it's going to yield anything.
All right, let me come to you, Matt King in Mina. I don't know how much you followed, but one of the things that came up interestingly this week was about resources and control of resources, which we think as they go into committee next week will be a big issue. And the Lamido of Adamawa made a suggestion that in exchange for giving total control of resources to the oil states, that people in other parts of the country should control the land resource. Did you read anything about that in Nigerian papers in Mina? And what is your take on that?
Thank you very much. Actually, since the conference started, since the members of the conference, the delegates, since this was released, I must confess, I must be very, very plain with you. I have never followed anything about the conference because I discovered that you don't plan for people, you plan with people. The government of Nigeria are planning for us. They are not planning with us as Nigerians. Jonathan cannot just sit down, set some people, and ask them to come and be debating on Nigerian issue when we as Nigerians did not select or elect them. The people are supposed to be allowed the zones, the geopolitical zones, the ethnic groups are supposed to be allowed to present the people of their own. Looking at the resource control, I don't read such things in the paper, in the dailies or wherever, because I know that whatever comes out from the meetings, their deliberations, aftermath of the confab, will be nothing to write home about. The whole thing is just to cushion the seat of some people. That is the way I look at it.
All right, thank you so much, Matt King. Yeah, thank you so much. Alea in UK, I want to know, did you pay attention to the national conference and what did you take out of what happened this week? There are very interesting issues, especially a woman stood up there and said that all rapists should be castrated. Another delegate stood up and said that everybody there, they were all corrupt. And there were many interesting things. And I want to know, what is your take on some of the things coming out of that conference? Or do you think it's all a waste of time?
For me, the whole idea of the conference is more of a waste of time and the way of feeding more of those on top already, because look at those that are representing us there. They are not chosen by us. We didn't choose them. However, like, are just there to talk about their own self, and they are too old to be there. I mean, for us to be able to have a successful national conference, everyone should be well represented, and it should be more of youth, not more of those above 60s. I can't really think well anymore. So there is really no point in me following it, because anything that will be out of it, the government won't follow it unless it will benefit them. And this is what we all know about Nigeria. So, okay. No point.
Thank you so much, Alea. On that note, I think there's no point talking more about national conference. Let's go to the rebasing of our economy that made us the #1 in Africa. And we're asking people today on all our social media, what does that mean to you? Does that mean that things are likely going to improve in years to come or in weeks to come? Louise, in France, what is your take on the fact that we are now #1 in the world, in Africa, sorry, and number 26 in the world? Louise, are you there? Okay, I think probably we lost Louise. She made her point and she's probably gone. Okay, Mazi Manuel, what is your take on the fact that Nigeria is now #1 in Africa?
Yep.
Hello?
Yeah, is that Louise? Okay, Louise, go ahead. No, Emmanuel, wait. Let's hear from Louise. Okay. She's back, obviously. Louise, go ahead. Okay.
What I want to say is that about the national conference, the only thing I want to say, those people that present there that day, they're all old quack. They're old quack, people that have to be to my grandfather. So they have no good thing to give to Nigeria. One. Two, there's something common. You know, just like what I told you last time when I first spoke to you. I said I lost my mother in 3 weeks ago. And my planning to go back to Nigeria to bury my mom. So what is happening is that I have to go to my country with my children. And you know, my husband is French, and also my children is French. Because of the risk of kidnapping in Nigeria now, I think if I want to go to Nigeria, we go alone. Because even my husband is afraid that they don't want them to kidnap his sons. So I don't really know what Nigeria is turning into. I'm afraid not to go to my country with my children, or even to attend my mother burial with my children. Just to pay the last respect. But now he's afraid. You see, 2013, they kidnapped some French citizen. I remember when Goodluck is here, it was demand for several cars for him to go with all his bodyguards he came with. When the president in France gave him a, he said it's not enough, he needs 12 cars. Can you imagine all those insults? So please, I want you people to really do something, because Sarah, you people are really trying for us. It's through the way I'm watching Sarah, I was even trying to communicate with Sarah people, because I know by the grace of God, you people will build Nigeria for us. Because Nigeria, I cannot say any good thing is coming out from that country. Even me, as I'm going next month, I'm even afraid whether they will not kidnap me. Asking my husband for 4 million. So
all right.
see, so I don't really know.
All right, Louis, thank you so much. I think we are going to take a break. When we come back, we are going to talk about the GDP and the fact that Nigeria is now #1 in Africa. So stay tuned.